When it comes to cruising, the food is just as big a part of the experience as the ports, the pools, or the entertainment. If you're sailing with Royal Caribbean, you're likely going to eat 3 meals a day, maybe more. And with so many restaurants and dining options available, it can be overwhelming to know what's worth your time and what's just okay. After dozens of cruises, I've learned a lot about dining on Royal Caribbean ships. Some of these lessons I learned the hard way, others just through repetition, but if I could go back and talk to my first-time cruiser self, this is exactly what I'd say. Let's start with the Windjammer, Royal Caribbean's go-to buffet. It's the heart of casual dining on the ship, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's always included in your cruise fare, which makes it the default choice for thousands of guests each day. The variety is solid. You'll find a rotating spread of international dishes, classic comfort foods, fresh fruits, and desserts. But the real standout feature, and something that far too many guests completely overlook, are the live cooking stations. These are the hidden gems within the buffet. In the morning, you'll spot the omelet station tucked away near the back or side of the buffet, where a chef will make your omelet to order with whatever ingredients you choose. No pre-made, dried-out eggs here. Just hot, fresh, customized breakfast exactly the way you like it. Then for lunch and dinner, those same stations transform. Sometimes they're serving up stir-fried noodles or fried rice with your choice of veggies and sauces. Other times it's a pasta bar where you can pick your noodle, your sauce, and your toppings. On some ships, you might even see crepe stations or carving stations with sizzling fresh meat. For the longest time, I avoided these stations, not because they didn't look good, but because I didn't want to wait. I just wanted to grab a plate of food and sit down, so I always headed straight for the pre-prepared trays. But here's the thing. Once I finally slowed down and gave the cooking station a shot, I realized I had been missing out. The difference in flavor, temperature, and freshness is immediate. You can actually taste the fact that it was cooked just for you, not scooped from a warming tray. And yes, you might wait 5 minutes, but on a cruise, what's the rush? This hit home for me on Anthem of the Seas while sailing through Europe. Because the ports were so busy and we returned to the ship late most nights, I ended up skipping the main dining room entirely. Instead, I relied almost exclusively on the Windjammer. And to my surprise, I never got bored because those live cooking stations kept things interesting. Every night I had something different, something made just for me, and it was consistently great. When you think about the fact that all of this is included in your cruise fare, it's honestly one of the best values on board. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about a dining experience that's the total opposite of buffet style, the Royal Railway Restaurant on Utopia of the Seas. When I first heard about it, I wasn't sure what to expect. It sounded a bit gimmicky, dining on a train simulation while actors tell a story through your meal. I figured I'd try it once just to say I did it, but after that first dinner, I couldn't stop thinking about it. The Royal Railway experience is part themed entertainment, part immersive dining. You're seated in what feels like an elegant vintage train car. The windows show rolling countryside or bustling cities as the train travels through different regions, matching the theme of the menu. Actors play roles throughout the meal to bring the narrative to life. But honestly, the best part isn't the set or the storyline, it's the food. I went into it expecting something average, maybe even bland, but instead I was blown away. The empanadas were crispy and flavorful, the soup was beautifully seasoned, and the desserts? Don't get me started. Rich, elegant, and plated like something out of a fine dining restaurant. What I thought would be a one-and-done experience ended up becoming a go-to. I returned with my family for a second, then a third visit, and it actually became one of the highlights of our trip. What I love most about Royal Railway is that it breaks the mold. While most cruise ships have their predictable steakhouse, sushi bar, and Italian options, this feels like something truly new. It's not just a restaurant. It's an experience. And when you combine that immersive environment with food that genuinely holds its own, it's hard not to want to come back again and again. In short, whether you're grabbing a quick bite at Windjammer or booking a seat on Royal Railway, Royal Caribbean dining has way more to offer than meets the eye, if you know where to look. Speaking of surprises, let's talk about one of the most unexpected culinary highlights in the entire Royal Caribbean experience. Perfect day at CocoCay. Years ago, if you had asked me what food on a private island was like, I would have told you to expect the bare minimum. We're talking limp burgers, dry hot dogs, maybe a scoop of potato salad, and the same slice of watermelon everyone else picked at. It was never truly bad, just forgettable. In fact, I used to plan my beach days around heading back to the ship for lunch because eating on the island just didn't feel worth it. But Royal Caribbean has flipped the script at CocoCay. With venues like Skipper's Grill, Chill Grill, and the Snack Shack, the food has gone from an afterthought to an actual highlight of the day. These aren't just upgraded picnic options, they're genuinely satisfying meals you'll look forward to. At Snack Shack, for example, don't miss the mozzarella sticks, crispy, gooey, and addictive. But what really impressed me was the secret sandwich. It's not on the menu, but if you ask for it, the crew will know exactly what you mean. It's a kind of cult favorite among frequent cruisers, and honestly, it deserves the hype. At the taco station, I've turned it into my personal cruise version of Chipotle. I build these massive bowls with seasoned beef, grilled veggies, shredded lettuce, corn, salsa, jalapenos. You name it. It's fresh, flavorful, and totally free. And the best part, you don't need to trudge back to the ship in your flip-flops to find something good to eat. Everything you want is right there on the island. Now, not every dining upgrade hits the mark. Let's talk about Chops Grill and its new Prime Cuts menu. The concept is simple. For an extra fee, you can upgrade your steak to a premium cut. Sounds tempting, especially if you're a meat lover. But here's the thing. Unless you're someone who truly understands steak at a connoisseur level, the difference might not be worth the added cost. I've tried both the standard and the upgraded cuts, and while the meat is undeniably good, I couldn't honestly say the pricier option changed my life. If you're just looking for a good steak, the regular Chops menu will more than satisfy you. Moving on to the main dining room, there's a strange little quirk I've noticed over the years. Something that seems like it should be simple, but never quite works out. Getting coffee with dessert. Every cruise. I try. I ask for espresso with my sweet course, and every time, either the coffee comes 5 minutes before the dessert, or 5 minutes after. You'd think by now they'd have figured it out. It's not a huge deal, but it's one of those little things that becomes oddly consistent the more you cruise. Still, once you accept it as one of cruising's unsolved mysteries, it's easy to laugh off. If you're sailing with kids, here's a game-changing tip. Stash milk when you can. After breakfast, milk becomes surprisingly hard to find outside of what they use for lattes or cappuccinos. If your kids are like mine and want milk at night, or if you just like a glass before bed, grab a couple of cartons from the Windjammer in the morning and pop them in your cabin fridge. It's more of a cooler than a real refrigerator, so it won't keep things fresh forever, but it'll do the job for a few hours. This little habit saved us from late-night meltdowns more than once. Now, if you ever find yourself not loving your meal in the main dining room, don't hesitate to ask for something else. That's not rude, it's expected. This isn't like dining at a land-based restaurant where ordering a second entree might feel uncomfortable. On a cruise, the staff genuinely wants you to enjoy every meal. Didn't like your steak? Try the chicken. Torn between 2 appetizers? Order both. The portions are smaller than you might imagine, and there's no penalty for trying multiple dishes. Unlike Carnival, Royal Caribbean doesn't charge extra unless you go completely overboard. And even then, they'll still smile and serve you. Worried about finishing your meal in time for a show or activity? Let your waiter know you're in a hurry. I've had evenings where I needed to be somewhere in 45 minutes and the staff made it happen. They expedited the service without making it feel rushed. It's a good balance. Royal even made updates to their main dining room process in 2023 that have helped things move more efficiently across the board. As long as you give them a heads up and aren't trying to be in and out in 15 minutes, they'll do their best to accommodate you. Let's circle back to specialty restaurants for a moment. They've changed a lot over the years. What used to be a $20 indulgence is now regularly $50 or more per person. But, in my experience, that higher price often comes with noticeably higher quality. Unlike the Windjammer or dining room where they're preparing for thousands, specialty restaurants cater to smaller crowds with made-to-order meals. The flavors are richer, the service more attentive, and the atmosphere more intimate. If you like sushi, Italian, Mexican, or just want a romantic evening out, it's worth booking at least one night at a specialty venue. Just don't wait too long. These restaurants fill up fast, especially later in the cruise. Try booking on night one for better availability, or just walk in and ask. Sometimes, even when the app shows no tables, they'll still find space. Early on in my cruising days, I thought buffet meals had to be eaten in the buffet. That's not true. You can take your food wherever you want, to the pool deck, your stateroom balcony, or a quiet lounge. It's perfectly allowed, and during busy times like breakfast or lunch, it's actually a great way to avoid the windjammer crowds altogether. But here's something that isn't allowed: bringing food off the ship into port. Due to customs regulations, especially when entering foreign countries or re-entering the U.S., fresh fruits and vegetables can't be brought ashore. Even if it's just a banana in your beach bag, you could get stopped and fined. Some ports even have food-sniffing dogs on the gangway, not looking for drugs, but apples. Packaged snacks like granola bars or crackers are usually okay, but honestly, it's easiest to leave all food on board when you're heading off the ship. A lot of first-time cruisers also wonder about tipping. And the good news is that when it comes to dining and buffet venues, gratuities are already covered by your daily service charge. That means you don't need to leave cash on the table or figure out how much to tip after every meal. When you're done eating, you can simply thank your server and leave. It might feel awkward at first, especially if you're used to tipping in restaurants, but on board, it's the norm. Lastly, let's touch on assigned dining times. Royal Caribbean still offers early and late seatings, but in reality, there's more flexibility than you might think. With my time dining or even just showing up outside of your designated time, the staff will usually do their best to seat you. You might wait a few minutes, especially during peak hours, but they won't turn you away. It's all designed to work around your schedule, not force you into theirs. In the end, Royal Caribbean has created a dining ecosystem that's more flexible, more diverse, and in many ways, more impressive than ever before. Whether you're snacking on mozzarella sticks under a palm tree at CocoCay or enjoying filet mignon in a formal dining room, there's something for everyone, as long as you know where to look, what to ask for, and when to speak up.